Hello and welcome to today's episode of Focus Atlanta. I am your host, Keisha Lancelin. Thanks so much for tuning in with us this Sunday afternoon. In our first segment, we're going to talk a little bit about your confidence and perhaps what you could do to shake things up a little bit. I am here with confidence coach, Regina Bonds. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me, Keisha.
Absolutely. Okay, so I didn't even know there was such thing as a self-care month, but I'm all about it. What should we be doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I believe, especially in our culture, self-care is not talked about enough. And I believe that we have to stop looking at self-care as a luxury and we have to look at it as a necessity. And a couple of things that I would say we need to start doing if we really want to take our lives and take it to the next level is we've got to start prioritizing our mental health. Mental health in today's society is so important. And it's about understanding that self-care begins in the mind. How are you feeling? Are you processing your thoughts? Are you journaling? Are you talking about your emotions? This is something that, a lot of people think is taboo, but we need to begin to get out our thoughts and our feelings in order to express ourselves and to feel good about ourselves. And, something else that I think we need to work on is setting boundaries. Why is it, Keisha, that we can say yes to everyone else, but we are saying no to ourselves in the process of telling everybody else yes and not giving ourselves a yes? So I believe that we need to start setting boundaries and making non-negotiables for what we want in our lives and what we want to accomplish. And then we can't forget the physical movement. We've got to move our bodies, even if it's dancing in the middle of the living room, or getting out in nature and taking a walk and taking some deep breaths. Get active because it moves your emotions through the body instead of having that stagnant energy inside of you and not letting it process and get out of you. And so moving that body, setting boundaries, and also prioritizing your mental health can just do wonders for your self-care routine.
I gotta say, you hit the nail on the head. I hadn't even, many of us, and I'm sure I'm not alone, but I hadn't even really considered those aspects of my self-care. You know what I mean? When I think of self-care, I think of making sure that I take maybe 5 minutes longer in the shower or spending a little more time, with my girlfriends or, those kind of things. Yeah. That mentality, having that mentality that the self-care needs to be first in terms of our mental well-being, that's huge.
Absolutely. And, it doesn't cost a lot. So many people think it's about getting your nails done. And don't get me wrong, I love a good massage and I love getting the nails done. And I think that is something that we all can do. But we've got to get back to the basics again, looking at self-care as a necessity, not a luxury, which is taking care of your mental health, setting those boundaries, creating non-negotiables for yourself, and also getting that body moving so that we can feel good and be good.
And you know what? The boundaries thing is huge. I think for so many women, so often, and not just women, so many of us, we don't have boundaries in terms of what we do for other people, how much we give to other people, how much we give to this organization or give to the job. You're saying turn that around, give that to yourself, feed yourself first.
There's a saying, Keisha, that says you cannot pour from an empty cup. And so many of us are going around today and we're pouring and we have nothing to give. And we're wondering why we're burnt out, we're exhausted, continuing to have that frustrated attitude. It's because we haven't learned how to pour back into ourselves. And so one of the things that I love to say is taking time out to celebrate yourself. When you do commit to a regimen or a new routine, I say celebrate those small wins. If this week you've walked and you've meditated and you journaled and you've paid attention to your mental health, then celebrate the small wins because what gets celebrated gets repeated is what I tell my clients. And so don't be afraid to celebrate yourself once you see yourself starting that path and taking care of yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally.
I love it. Thank you so much. You were just the burst of energy that we needed, but I can't let you get out of here without letting our viewers know where they can tap in. Is there a website that they can go to and get these little nuggets?
Absolutely. You want to go to www.reginabonds.com. You can subscribe to my newsletter there and get all the information.
Thank you so much for coming back on the show. It was a pleasure to see you.
Absolutely. Great being here. Thank you.
All right, guys, we can do this. And we don't just have to, relegate it to self-care month. This is something that Regina's saying that we can do on a consistent basis. We have to make our health a habit. How about that? Take the opportunity to go to her website, learn these tips and more, and stay tuned to more Focus Atlanta. We'll be right back.